Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, is at Al's bar for his AA meeting at the bar, and Tony right next to him is talking to Gina, a new girl at the bar, and he says, "You see this missing finger here? I had a few beers one night as I was making a birdhouse, and I accidentally cut it off with the table saw. You see this finger on the other hand? I had a couple more beers than I usually have at this AA meeting here at the bar, and I was making a coat rack and accidentally cut that off." And she says, "Oh, that's terrible. Why on earth you keep doing that stuff?" And he says, "Oh, I can't give up woodworking. I love it." Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, is at his AA meeting at the bar. Yeah, Amputees Anonymous. And Tony walks in. And Tommy says, "Tony, where were you last AA meeting at the bar?" And Tony says, I started another woodworking project." And Tommy looks at both hands and he says, "But you're not missing any new fingers." Yep. Tony, he likes to drink when he's working on his woodworking projects, and he's missing a few fingers of 2 hands. And he says, "Oh yeah, I couldn't grip the wood, the table saw at the same time, so I had to use my foot to hold the wood in place." And he points down at it. "Yeah, it's bloody." Harry is watching TV as Edna does the crossword, and she says, "What is that? It sounds like it's coming from the alleyway. Is that somebody playing the violin?" And Harry goes, "No, I think it's a whole bunch of cats." Actually, it's both. It's Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, and his gal, Rhea, and she's playing the violin. They love that oriental delicacy, the cat. But you can't buy it on the grocery shelf, so they have to go in the alleyways and hunt. She plays the violin. Cats run out. Tommy grabs the cat with his mouth. She whacks the cat with the violin, and then he puts it in the sack. Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, is in the library carrying a book with his mouth. He marches up to the checkout counter, throws the book down, and he says, "That book is mislabeled." And the librarian smiles when she sees the title, and she says, "Cat Recipes? Oh no, that's the right label. This recipe on page 38, my 12 cats love it." By then, Rhea, his girlfriend, is starting to drag Tommy out of the library, telling him, "I told you that was not what the book was about." But Tommy is no longer thinking about the cat book. He's calling back to the librarian. "Where do you live?" Yes, the Orientals love the cats and the dogs. Carl is working on his car, and he looks out from underneath, and he says, "Hey fella, can you give me a hand? I'm trying to put my starter in. I've got it in place, but I need those bolts over there." And Tommy, he walks over. He's on his way to the bar, but he walks over and he kicks off his loafer, picks up the bolts and drops them in Carl's hand. Then he finishes putting the starter in. He gets out and he says, "Oh, thanks, fella." And Tommy says, "Well, don't worry about it. I'm on my way to the bar for my AA meeting." He says, "You have an AA meeting at the bar? Can I go with?" And Tommy says, "Sure." Yeah, Carl is a recovering alcoholic, but not for long. Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, average worker, the unseen business manager of the streets of the unseen business. You know where my fiction leaves off. He's angry he can't watch the Stooges. He's going to have to work late. He's going to have to eat cold cat when he gets home. All because Wu saw something on the internet. You see, the Great Wall of Chinese Evil has lapdog generals, and one of them, a true American, made a video of him active in one way, shape, or another. And America's hijacked lifelines, me not getting a 9/11 flight 93 checking out for a decade of asking. So Tommy's going to have to erase stuff on the internet left and right, and good luck doing that, because yeah, true Americans are going to get truth worldwide via flash drives, internet, and all kinds of other ways. Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, overhears Al, the bartender, saying that if business gets any worse, he's going to have to close the bar. And Tommy doesn't like the sound of that, because he'd have to spend his evenings with Rhea instead of, down at the bar, at the AA meeting at the bar. Yeah, Amputees Anonymous. So Tommy, he gets a whole bunch of flyers together, and he finds out where they're having those AA meetings all over the city, and he hands out the flyer. Come have your AA meeting at Al's bar. And it turns out those new AA members are really good drinkers. So Al's business is booming. Rhea is angry. She is driving. And every time Tommy says a word, she snaps at him. She tells him she's never been so embarrassed in her life. The zookeeper called her down to the zoo. Yes, Tommy had a big sack. Yes, the Orientals love the cats and the dogs, known not as pets, as dinner. And Tommy's been going after the alley cats for a long time. But now he's got his sights on the big cats, lions. And the zookeeper said he ran right up that tree, he was told. And they say he was missing the arms before that, but he wanted Rhea to sign saying, yeah, we know we're not supposed to climb into the lion cage. Tommy is a no-armed Chinese fella. Lost both arms, being blindly obedient. Told by his wash blue to stick his right arm in the wood chipper. He did that. Lefty the left arm wisely jumped off, leaving him with no arms but promotion. This isn't occurring at work. It's late at night. This is Tommy's AA meeting night. He has it at the bar. Yeah, Amputees Anonymous. And he gets home. He crawls through the doggy door. It's easier than getting out his keys. Yeah, with no arms. He gets up, he staggers around a little bit, he's been drinking, and Rhea says, what happened, Tommy? You got a black eye. You beat Hezekiah at darts or arm wrestling, and he gave you a black eye? And Tommy said, no. Air hockey. You always got to play with his mouth, and when you're just a few inches from the playing surface. Leah and Mia get to work, and they scream when they see Tommy and his mistress / employee Lou. You see, Tommy's boss Wu had caught them both picking their nose in public and was worried about them giving the Orientals an even worse name with that, so he sent them to a nose-picking support group, and they're both wearing masks. Yeah, the Hannibal nose-picking prevention mask. I think it's named after the man who developed it. It covers the face and got a little lock in the back, and yeah, it scared those Aaliyah and Mia, so they screamed. Tommy is a no-armed Chinese fella. How'd he get to be missing both arms? His boss, Boo, told him to stick his right arm into a wood chipper. He did that. Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off, leaving him with no arms. But it was a test of loyalty, so he is bossing a whole lot of folks around on the streets. Leah is one of those folks, and she's gotten back from lunch early, and she hears Tommy in his office with Lou. Lou's the Oriental nose picker. Well, just about all of them are Oriental nose pickers, but she's in there with Tommy, and Tommy says, "Oh, that's great, Lou. You know just how to do that. That's perfect." And, "Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's great." She bursts in. She says, "Hey, if you don't stop what you're doing right now, I'm going to tell Rhea." And she looks over, and Lou's picking Tommy's nose, and she says, "Oh, never mind. As long as you don't order me to do that." Tommy is the no-arm Chinese fella. My fun cartoon. I'm Melton. Lost both his arms in the wood chipper incident. Was told by his boss he would stick his right arm into a wood chipper. He did that. Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off. Or fun fiction. Tommy got a promotion for being blindly obedient. He is on a pier, and he is telling a whole lot of folks what to do, how to do it. It's a politically correct rally. And yes, a big gust of wind comes up, and he's fairly light, Oriental. He gets pushed out into the ocean, and yeah, they try to get him, but he gets swept out to sea, and the Coast Guard has to pick him up. Remember, if your politically correct group can't make a video of your hijack, call to me. It isn't one. Tommy is the no-arm Chinese fella. Lost both his arms in a wood chipper incident. His boss, Wu, told him to stick his right arm into the wood chipper, and he did that. And Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off, got him a promotion, but yeah, now he's missing both arms. Anyway, Tommy has gotten home on his unicycle. And Rhea's not there, so he turns on the Three Stooges, and after a while he looks over and he sees this really big mallet by the phone. So he goes over, he knocks the receiver off the hook, he dials up Rhea and says, "Rhea, why is there a really big mallet here?" And she says, "I don't know. What would I need with a big mallet?" And he says, "What would I need with a big mallet? I don't have any arms." And then he looks over just in time to see Lefty lift that big mallet up, bonk him on the head, and yes, the bump rises. Lefty's still sore. For those of you who don't know, Tommy, the no-arm Chinese fella, is cheating on Rhea with Lou, the Oriental, female Oriental nose picker. Yes, I know they all do that, but Lou does it particularly well. That's why Tommy and Lou are in a motel lobby checking in, and the clerk says, "Oh no, she's not going to sign. Last time she left boogers all over my stuff." And Tommy says, "Well, I'll sign." And the astonished clerk watches Tommy kick off a loafer, reach up for that pen behind his ear, sign, pay, and then the guy says, "Hey, you left boogers all over this." And he says, "I'm sorry, I was just picking my nose with my toe." Tommy is the no-arm Chinese fella. Was told by his boss Wu to stick his right arm into a wood chipper. He did that. And Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off, leaving Tommy with no arms, but a promotion. He's a manager of the streets. And he is explaining to Rhea, his girlfriend / wife, that Wu wants to see him early tomorrow morning. It could mean a big promotion. So he's going to have to get up early and go in. And Lefty is taking a cat nap under the couch, and he hears that, and yes, he's stowing away in Tommy's backpack on that unicycle with some duct tape and a do not disturb sign for his office. He duct tapes him to the chair because he fell asleep once he got to work. And yeah, Rhea's going to be mad as well because he didn't get a Valentine's Day. Tommy is the no-armed Chinese fella. Was told by his boss Wood to stick his right arm into a wood chipper. He did that. And Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off, leaving him with no arms but promotion. He's a manager of the streets, the unseen business now. But it's his day off, and he's getting ready for the big Stooge marathon. Got the popcorn, got the cola. And he looks up and he sees Lefty holding a roll of toilet paper on top of the refrigerator. And he says, "Stupid left arm. You can't wipe your butt." Well, he's got news for him. Neither can he. And as Tommy is laughing, he flies off and wraps him up. By the time Rhea gets home, he's stumbling around. She says, "Why aren't you watching your Stooge marathon?" Instead playing mummy. So Al was worried about his bar because business was kind of down. And Tommy, he saved the day by handing out a whole bunch of flyers. Tommy is the no-armed Chinese fella. And he has his AA meeting, Amputees Anonymous, at the bar there with Al. So he went around to all the other AA meetings in the town, handed out those flyers saying, "Al's is a great bar to have your AA meeting at." And this woman has come in, tearfully taken her husband out. He's drunk as a skunk. And she says, "You guys with the AA meeting at the bar, you're terrible. You're just terrible." And Hezekiah said, "What's her problem?" And Tommy says, I guess she just doesn't like amputees." Tommy is rushing Gladys, a little old lady, neighbor of his. "Hurry, hurry, the cat, Ham, is burning." And, he crawls in through the doggy door, and Gladys opens the door up and goes in and gets the ham out of the oven. She gets back and tells Henry all about it. "Oh, I had to. Last time she went out of town, he burned his lips trying to take dinner out." Yeah, the Orientals love the cats and the dogs. No, not as pets, as dinner. And it's kind of hard to cook when you're a no-armed Chinese fella. Oh, you try it. Aria has just gotten home, and she hears Tommy yelling from the car. Yeah, Tommy's the no-armed Chinese fella. Was told by his boss, Wu, to stick his right arm into a wood chipper. He did that. And Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off. He is yelling and screaming, tearing things up, kicking things over, stomping around. As he says, "Tommy, what's wrong?" And Tommy says, "That traitor left arm bought a big crate of hand cream. Charged it to me." And Rhea says, "Well, Tommy, I bought the hand cream." And he calms down. Yeah, later on, she'll put that hand cream underneath that couch where Lefty is. He needs it. He's hand modeled now. Tommy is the no-armed Chinese fella. And he's on his way to work and he sees a taco truck. He can't resist tacos, so he parks his unicycle, gets in line, and who should show up but the bully? Steps in front of him in line. And Tommy says, "Hey, fella, you can't do that." And he turns around and it's the bully. The one he demeaned in public. Tommy demeaned in public, and so it's personal between him and the bully. The bully picks him up, puts him on a branch by his suspenders, and it's a taco truck, so they got honey there so they can put it on their tacos. He spreads honey all over Tommy's mouth and riles up these bees right next door, and they form that bee beard, and folks are gathering, they're clapping, they're dropping coins. They think it's a street show or something. Tommy, the no-armed Chinese fella, has been making plans. He has stuck that right arm in the wood chipper because he was told to. Lefty, the left arm, jumped off, leaving him with no arms but a promotion on the streets in the unseen business. And he's bought a big freezer for work and a big freezer for home because he's got a great idea, the cat recall line. Yeah, the Orientals love the cats and the dogs. No, not as pets, as dinner, but you can't exactly buy that stuff on the shelves. So he's got his workers. He has been known to use his position to get cat. Got his workers calling up, cat owners and telling them, does it purr? Does it meow? It's defective. Come, bring it in. We'll give you a cat's voucher. Tommy is the no-arm Chinese fella. Was told by his boss Wu to stick his right arm into a wood chipper, and he did that. And Lefty, the left arm, wisely jumped off, leaving Tommy with no arms but a promotion. He's bossing a whole lot of folks around. He's late for work, and he's angry because he woke up and his unicycle tire was flat. No, he doesn't need a bicycle. And Rhea, his lazy girlfriend, would not get out of bed and drive him, so he had to drive himself, and it hurts his teeth to drive because that's all he's got to drive with. He gets out of the car at work, and these two guys say, that's a nice car. It's a new one he just bought. And he said, it should be nice. Cost me an arm and a leg. And they thought that was hilarious, and Tommy couldn't figure it out. Rhea would have to explain later on. Tommy, the no-arm Chinese fella, is at his AA meeting at the bar. And, yes, Amputees Anonymous. And Tony, a new one-legged member, is telling how he lost, his leg. He's also telling how after he lost his leg, he got really drunk at a bar, and a hot blonde, way out of his league, walked up to him and picked him up. And he was so drunk, the next day he woke up in a motel room, yes, with his kidneys harvested. And Tommy doesn't like to tell about the wood chipper, how he lost his arm, so he uses that story. He says, well, I was going into the hospital for tonsillitis, and they harvested my arm. Somebody else has my arms. Tommy is the no-arm Chinese fella. Average worker of the unseen business, manager of the unseen business, the streets. And he's got all of his employees assembled for this morning. And he tells them, we have very important staged event today. Joan's car isn't going to work. And you, Leah, you're going to give her a lift. You're going to drop her off the other side of the street from where she's going. She's going to meet an old friend, Kayla. And Kayla's got a job for her. It's a staged event. We're getting them together and getting Joan a new job. And Leah says, well, how do we know that her car is not going to start? And Ching comes in covered with grease. He says, it's not going to start, boss. Lou is the female Oriental nose picker that Tommy's cheating on Rhea with. And she also works for him now. And Wu, Tommy's boss, Tommy's the no-arm Chinese fellow, he has stopped by and seen Lou picking her nose. And he says, I too am Oriental, but I resist that urge to pick my nose in public because I don't want others to think that we all do that. Come with me. And he takes her into Tommy's office, and yes, he's got his loafer off and he's got that toe up his nose. So yes, both he and Lou have to go to nose picker support group. This is my Tommy from last night, and I'm going to mute and play because my tummy got altered a little bit. Tami, the warm Chinese fella, average worker of the unseen business, the street. You know where my phone fiction leaves off. Pick up that phone, make a video. Your phone not working as you try to call me. Video someone else's phone. Anyway, Tommy's going to have to eat cold cat when he gets home. He's got to work late. He can't watch the Stooges at work because Wu saw one of the Great Wall of Evil, Chinese evils, lapdog generals of the U.S. Someone had made a video of them being very un-American, being a part of disinformation perhaps about me asking for a 9/11 Flight 93 check for over a decade and only getting insulin poisoning. And from that, they made a video of one of the generals being the exact opposite of what he should be. And it's on the internet, and Tommy's going to have to go in and erase a lot of stuff. Good luck with that, guys, because true Americans are going to get post and repost truth. They're going to get it out on flash drives, DVDs, word of mouth, pages, pieces of paper. 9/11 Flight 93 checking posted 5 right now. 424-229-4140 and call up that general you know or don't know and ask when else will my phone not be allowed to work. If you don't know what a 9/11 Flight 93 check is, MELTON asking for one for over a decade. If you don't know what one is, you're either incompetent or you're involved. Which is it? Get the reaction post. Be the reporter. Our reporters aren't doing their jobs either.